This is going to be a really interesting episode. We're going to talk about money. We're also going to talk about the air show. I don't know if anyone has ever had an air show fly right above your boat, but I'm going to show you some of that. The marina had a bunch of people here for the first time in a long time. Probably the two busiest days here are the 3rd of July, where they set the fireworks right there, and then this air show. So it was a lot of fun to see everybody come down here and have a lot of fun together. It's pretty cool. The other thing I want to talk about is how much it costs for me to keep my boat here in Wisconsin year-round. So I'll talk about the storage price and I'll talk about the dock price. And then I'll give you some comparisons on dock prices. I'm also going to talk to you about one of my buddies flipped a boat. And I know 2 or 3 people that do this, not really for a living, but just to basically offset the cost of living on a boat. And I want to show you that. I'll give you round numbers. I'm not going to go into too much detail because it's not my boat, and so I'll just give you the round numbers on that. But we're going to talk money and kind of give you an idea of what you can plan on spending to do this, to be this lifestyle in this location in Wisconsin, where you have a place that freezes and you have to store your boat 4 months out of the year, basically, is what it works out to. So it's going to be an interesting episode. Stay tuned. Look at that. Cricket. Cricket is relaxing. River just stole my seats. And Gertie's just relaxing. Everybody is having a really good evening, essentially. All the animals are just relaxing. When you're talking about storage at a marina, the docks are rented out based on square foot, the actual footage of the dock. So the smallest dock you can rent here is 25 feet, and that's $1,800 for the season. The season starts May 1st and goes to November 15th. The dock I'm on is 35 feet. You have to have, your boat has to be 3 feet smaller than the dock that you rent. So my boat's 30 feet, so I have to rent a 35-foot dock because the next size down is 32. That's $2,700 and change to rent that dock. The most expensive dock in our line, I'll show you a picture of, is E-Dock, and that's 50 feet, and that's $5,000. Now, you can also, they have a 250-foot dock that you can rent if your boat is bigger than 50 feet, and that's called a face dock. At that point, you're paying by the foot, by the day. So it depends on how big your boat is. So me being here from May 1st to November 15th costs me $2,800. That includes water. The water is checked and purified and you can drink it. It includes electricity, 2 30-amp plugs. And it includes Wi-Fi, bathroom. They do provide a laundromat, but you have to pay for it. So, and then you guys have all seen my dock. All these docks on this side are 35 foot, on this side is 32 foot. Then over there, the ones facing me are 35 feet, the one on the other sides are 40 feet. So it's come to my attention, Gertie, that we're not supposed to feed ducks bread. No, actually I've known that forever. But look at what Gertie thinks of the alternative. Okay, let's see if another duck will eat it. No, they don't even think about it. Oh yeah, you should feed ducks lettuce. Because if you throw bread in the water, it becomes litter. Okay, so you see, you see what the lettuce looks like? You gotta cut them in half, otherwise they're... But she likes them, and they're good for her. So, green grapes it is. No more bread for Gertie. Just green grapes. Look at the birds. There's like 3 more right there. As I was saying in the intro, a friend of mine, Xavier, purchased a smaller sailboat from the 80s and went through, painted everything, replaced the windows, made sure there was no leaks on the boat, and then resold it. Now, round numbers, he bought it for a little over $4,000 and then turned around and sold it for a little over $8,000. And we're thinking he put about less than $1,000 into it. To get that to happen. He also used the boat regularly for 2 seasons. Look at how perfect it looks inside with the light. The other thing that I want you guys to notice is if you're buying an older boat, from the 80s up, everything on the bottom is fiberglass, so you won't get any wood damage if the boat should float. If you buy a boat from the 70s like mine, the wood goes all the way down, and you get damage when it does take on water. Just something for people to know. Opening up the windows and painting in here is such a big difference. Now, on the completely other side of the marina is the 50-foot docks. They're $5,000 for the season. This is one of my favorite boats. It's not bad. It is Josh and Susie's. For comparison, this is what their bathroom looks like in comparison to Xaviers Boat that we just went through. I hang out on Not Bad and have barbecues, and we went down to Racine in season 2, so you can actually check out that video if you want to see the boat actually moving and going, me going somewhere with them. But I love having barbecues with these guys. They're great. So now we're at the point where I gotta, let's say I'm just wrapping up for the winter and I'm heading down south to stay in my houseboat or my RV. You still have to pay to keep the boat in storage. This boat, the way I keep it, this is all included in one price. They take the mast off, they put it in a barn. It's not heated, but it never gets below freezing, so you don't really worry too much. However, you do winterize your motor, even though you're storing it. And that cost me $2,300 per season, and that includes my mast coming off and going back on. I have stored for $1,200 outside, leaving my mast up where they're just not really doing any work on the boat, and I winterized it myself, and that was $1,200. So you can get away with doing it cheaper. The other thing is, that's also based on square foot. Now, the dock is based on the length of the boat, and it really doesn't matter how wide your boat is. So if you're looking for pricing for a dock, it's based on length. If you're looking for pricing for storage, they do length times width, and they give you a square footage. So, if you're in an area where you don't have to store for winter, and what you should be doing is looking for a really wide, short boat, and that'll save you the most money over the long run for the cost of the dock. If you have a 14-foot wide boat that's only 33 feet long, you're going to pay a lot less money than a 40-foot boat that's 10 feet wide. And so on. You get it. Yeah. So I think we've gone over most of the cost of being in Wisconsin. Now, let me just justify why I'm moving to Tennessee. My dock in Tennessee, I don't have to take the boat out. It can stay at that dock. And Tennessee and lower towards the equator, you can keep the boat in the water year round. And the dock in Tennessee is $1,080 for me, for my dock. So it's 5 times cheaper. I can live for 5 years off the same amount of money in Tennessee as I do for 1 year in Wisconsin. I did not know that when I bought a boat. I've learned that over the last year. And so one of the first things I'm doing is slowly moving all of my possessions to lower states where I don't have to winterize and I don't have to pay for storage because I'm keeping it all on my land down there. So my truck, my RV, my houseboat, and a houseboat trailer will all be on my land. My sailboat and my mountain bike will be on the river, and we will take the sailboat and the mountain bike to the Bahamas, and everything else will sit here. That's the plan. It's just how I get it all down there that's going to be the fun part and the adventure. And it's going to take a couple of months of traveling to do it, because I only go 5 miles an hour.
Lazy yellow moon coming up tonight, shining through the trees.
Look at this dog. He's a marina dog. You want to go for a boat ride? I found this new beach just a few miles down south of South Shore, just by our airport. I showed you a little bit of it. Real sandy, nice water. Yeah, and it's open to the lake, so it's got some good waves on it. It's pretty cool. We'll show you. U.S. Coast Guard cable crossing. Don't anchor. You also got to go 5 miles an hour through this gate. There's only a couple gates that you can speed through. Look at that water level door. It's watertight. That's pretty cool. And then the other ones are just boarded up. You could get in here very easily if you wanted to. Oh, you can go on your microphone and key 5 times and they'll turn the light on if you want that lit up on your shortwave radio when you call the marina. That's kind of cool to know. They're like, hey, if you can't find where you're going, just key on your radio on this station 5 times and we'll turn it on. We're gonna head maybe 5 miles that direction, around that peak, down to where that airplane's landing at the airport. And there's a beautiful beach there that my buddy told me about. It's just past the cement, he calls it a cement buttress. I'll show you them. I think it's a bunch of piers and maybe an old water treatment building or something. Well, who knows? But it makes for a great landing and a great beach for the dogs. So we're gonna head down there, and this is about as calm as Lake Michigan gets. It's beautiful. You can go that way, a little over 100 miles. You can go that way, a little over 250 miles. You can go that way, a little over 150 miles. And you can go this way, a little over 2 miles. It's a lot of water. And it gets to be over almost 500 feet deep. But on average, it's 300 feet deep, which means you cannot anchor. A lot of people think you can go out and anchor. In order to anchor in 300 feet of water, you would have to have, 2,100 feet of rope, because you're supposed to let out 7 feet of rope for every foot down. And nobody carries that much rope on them. I carry 300 feet of rope, which means I can safely anchor in about 50 feet of water. And no deeper. This buoy that I'm coming up on is known as the Bell Buoy, and it was purchased and mounted out here by the South Shore Yacht Club. It's actually a memorial. I don't know whether it's for just members that have passed on from the South Shore Yacht Club, or if it's veterans, or I don't know what the list is. However, when you go to their website, they do have a listing of all the people that this is dedicated to, their age and when they passed. and their names and that kind of thing. So it's a really cool memorial out here. So the bigger the waves are, the louder the bell rings. And you can see that it would ring from any direction because of the way the pendulums are. It doesn't matter which way the waves are coming. You also can see that you could crawl inside of that thing. Like, the hatch is big enough for even a big guy like me to crawl in. Look how big that is. Imagine hitting that. That would just mess up a boat. But it lives out here year round. Look at, 2 of the weights are rusted off. And then 2 aren't. But they are loose. Like, if someone doesn't come out here in the next, you know, that the bolts are pretty low. It's pretty cool.
Later on, with no one around, had me fighting for air, laying on the ground. Oh, no.
Stay. Stay. Go, buddy!
About to catch the last train home. I'll have to jump the barriers. So can you spare a penny? But my thoughts have been praised upon the pavements. Passers-by don't pay much, chased away by neighbors, seen things you couldn't make up. If the streets could talk, they tell a story or two. I'll paint a picture for you. I can tell you what it feels like to lose your home on a cold night. Can you see the blood in my red eyes? Have another total forget life. So come and fly away with me to a place where we could be anyone we wanna be. And we can bottle up our fears, brew a taste so sweet, knock us off our feet and more. Burn our troubles, inhale them all, paint our future on a fractured wall. So come and fly away with me to a place where we can be anyone.
Just look at this beach. Look at that water. Look how clear that water is. And just the greenery topping the hill, the sky, being able to look out into the water and to the horizon and not see another side. This is just a beautiful place. I'm glad I grew up here. I'm gonna miss it. It's a beautiful, stunning, stunning place in the world, and I recommend, if you ever want to feel like you're on an ocean but not deal with salt water, the Great Lakes. Absolutely the Great Lakes.
Experience. So I got my cooler.
Oh, look at that. And then look at the staircase comes out.